Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really happy to introduce today's guest, Lauren A. Cohen, Esquire. Lauren is a graduate of York University and Osgoode Hall Law School in Toronto, Canada, global entrepreneur, and the #1 best-selling author of a book called Finding Your Silver Lining in the Business Immigration Process, that became a #1 bestseller in its first month of publication. She is a licensed attorney in both the United States and Canada, and she is an expert concierge immigration and business advisor, boasting a stellar track record of success. Lauren has firsthand knowledge of the visa process, having herself immigrated from Canada, and later she became an American citizen. She has been the acclaimed company creator of eCounsel Incorporated. And today I want to talk specifically about her latest enterprise, about Sound Strategic Solutions, ScaleUP Enterprises, LLC. She established that in 2018, and she created the ScaleUPCheckUp. And that is her newest initiative. It's an online growth assessment checkup tool for growing businesses. In the ScaleUp model, Lauren's overriding mission is of anticipating challenges before they happen, and she helps provide access to a collaborative network of certified professional services providers, designed in response to the challenges faced by so many entrepreneurs that simply do not understand the critical importance of proper professional guidance and or are afraid of the costs of protection, that perhaps those costs are too high. Her ScaleUPCheckUp is poised to revolutionize the professional service industry and the way in which collaborative professional services are delivered. And I could tell you a ton more about Lauren, but I really want to ask you, Lauren, more about what services you provide with your ScaleUp system.
Oh, well, there's actually, so first of all, Tammy, hi. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, as always. And I developed this ScaleUp system to look under the hood of businesses and basically provide a GPS to uncover the gaps and then provide solutions to fill them. So there's 7 areas that we look at, from business planning to legal, of course, to financial and taxes, to operational and insurance. And then the areas that we provide the services in range from creating and implementing strategic business plans to operational and project guidance, setting up nonprofits, contract negotiation and drafting, and providing corporate governance services, as well as I have various Jumpstarter programs for coaches, speakers, authors, and experts, as you and I have been talking about. So we have a range of services, but the beauty is, the most unique thing about our business is that yesterday I was at an event, and I just draw attention to this lovely woman who was talking about hiring all the wrong people to do the different services. And the problem is that there's just so much crap, so much garbage out there right now, so many people that pay a lot of money for Google AdWords to rank high, which doesn't mean they're quality. So the most important service that I can provide, and I do provide to my clients after we do a success plan for them and uncover their gaps and provide guidance on the solutions, is actually giving them access to the vetted professionals that are going to fill those gaps, because we, ScaleUp, is not going to fill all the gaps. Some might need a Tammy Patzer. Some might need, an accountant. I'm definitely not an accountant, right? You and I, not accountants, not our specialty, right? And the key is that I am going to teach you how to stay in your lane and get the people on your team that are going to help you with all the other lanes. That you don't have to go and figure out who's who and what's what. You're going to have access to my Rolodex of vetted, certified professionals.
Wow, that's a really cool service when you think about it, because as a solo entrepreneur, let's just say I stumbled around, and one of the things that I finally did get was a CPA or an accountant to help me, somebody to do the bookkeeping, because those were, it's really interesting, because what's one of the most important things in a business is keeping that money coming in. And yet, if you're a service provider or a creative type, that may not be the thing that you're the best at. And you're right, there's so many gaps to fill, and there's so many things, like from bank accounts to getting the proper tax information, setting up the proper business. And you have something that I'm really interested in that I wanted to focus on. And I know that you have, you can go to ScaleUP and do an assessment. So I really like that idea, but I wanted to focus today on asking more about one of your strategies, which is related to nonprofits, because most of us, we have this vision of, I'd like to help the world in some way. Maybe there's something that we've seen in our lives or something, and we see that we could really help the world, but we're still struggling, or we're doing our business.
Yeah.
You actually say that a nonprofit can help you with your business, but also help you to do that service to the global sense of it, or to the universe. So if you can focus a little bit on that and tell me more about, maybe if you just said, some of the strategies, but then focus in on nonprofit, I think the audience would love to know that, because I know, like me, when I heard that you could help me set up a nonprofit, I was immediately, I raised my hand and said, hey, I want to know more.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I would say 80% of my clients are women, and probably 80% of those women want to give back. Well, probably 100% want to give back, but many don't know how. Many think they want a nonprofit, but don't know what that means. Many don't think a nonprofit can be an income generating endeavor. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I talk about the 7 secrets to scale up success. One of which is a strong business plan. The second of which is having all of your legal documents and legal foundation and legal entity in place. The third is to make sure that you don't download random internet resources. The fourth is, as we talked about, don't just go and pick a service provider without vetting them or having them referred in. The fifth is to consider your intellectual property opportunities, which there could be a lot of trademark opportunities. I can't, right off the top of my head, I can't remember the sixth one, but insurance and licensing, getting yourself covered. But the most important piece for today, or for what you said, is the 7th, which is setting up a nonprofit. Now, why and how does that help your for-profit business? So, first of all, nonprofits are not non-money-making entities. Nonprofits can and do make money. Look at United Way and the American Cancer Society. And my goodness, I mean, we could go, through like Red Cross. I mean, they're everywhere. Jewish Federation. There's a lot of money-making machines out there that are nonprofits and 501c3 designated tax-exempt entities. So how does that make sense? So the key differential between a for-profit and a nonprofit, well, there's 2. The first is that the main purpose of setting up the nonprofit cannot be profits. It can be a secondary purpose, but your mission is not to make money. Your mission is to serve a purpose, to serve a mission, charitable, educational, religious, there could be pets, as long as it meets with the IRS requirements. The second important feature of a nonprofit, distinguishing it from a for-profit, is that there's no owners per se. So let's say, Tammy, you set up your nonprofit. You're not an owner. In Florida, there are 3 directors. They all play a role, but they're just directors. They don't have a right to take the profits home. So what that means is at the end of each year, when there's a net revenue positive, that net revenue has to be reinvested into the not-for-profit. It doesn't go into your pocket. So there's no dividends because there's no owners. So those are the 2 main differences. But the beauty of a nonprofit is so huge. I mean, there are so many benefits that it brings to your for-profit business. It brings to you as a socially driven, mission-driven entrepreneur, purpose-driven. You get to raise money tax-free. You get to build your business tax-free. So people can make donations, companies can make donations, sponsorships, and they get a tax write-off. You have huge tax incentives. You can access all kinds of government entities like libraries and community centers and all these venues to speak because you have a nonprofit, okay? That doors are opening all over the place. You add huge credibility to your business, huge, because you have done something to make a difference in the world. So you're building your personal brand, which is directly connected to your business brand. So how can it not augment your business's brand? It brings credibility. It expands your footprint and your impact. This is all coming from my head. I don't even have my notes, but it's just like the volume of benefit is so huge. And there's compliance requirements, and you have to have an accounting, you have to file certain tax returns. But to me, I think that every social / mission / purpose-driven entrepreneur should have a nonprofit. I have a nonprofit. It's called Find My Silver Lining. It's about helping struggling single parents and working moms find their way through the clouds, through adversity, to their goals and their dreams and their silver lining. And my book, the proceeds of my book are donated to that nonprofit. So it's funny because we both know that having a #1 best-selling book does not necessarily translate to lots of money. So we'll just put that out there.
Listening to you, think about it. If you are somebody who has this bigger mission or picture in your mind of that you want to help, and again, I listened to you want to help single moms to find their silver lining. And then I also your father, you had another one. It's Zebby's.
No, it's not another nonprofit, but it's connected. Yeah. So you'll see on my Find My Silver Lining page, my dad is very prominent on there. I lost my dad to ALS 5.5 years ago. And I haven't figured this out yet. I think we talked about this yesterday, but there's going to be something significant related to ALS and my dad and a memoriam in his name. I haven't, like I say, I don't know what it's going to be. It's not going to be a luncheon or a walk. It's going to be something that's connected to my dad, Oliver Shalom, and my son. And one of the programs or activities that we had set up, which we haven't fulfilled quite yet. But one of the things was through Find My Silver Lining, to match grandparents, whether they have grandchildren or not, but especially here in South Florida, but all over the world, there's grandparents that are displaced from their grandchildren. And grandchildren, like mine, who have either no grandparents or no grandfathers. My son has no grandfather. And I don't think that there's a replacement for that. I was extraordinarily close with my grandfather, Oliver Shalom, very close with both my grandparents, and they fortunately lived. My grandfather passed away just before I got married, And my grandmother lived until I was pregnant, actually. So she never knew I was pregnant, although she did, but that's another story. We'll leave that for another day. But so anyway, the point is that I think that there's no replacement. You have a grandchild, don't you, Tammy?
Yes, I actually have 2 grandchildren, Orion and Aurora.
There you go. And are you super close with them?
Yes, I'm lucky. I normally go. They live in Minnesota.
Oh,
Typically travel to see them 2 or 3 times a year, and they invite me and are happy to see me.
of course, because you spoil them to death, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what grandparents are all about. And, I feel that it's so important to have that relationship in a child's life. So yes. So my dad is part of absolutely everything I do. Absolutely everything I do.
I think that if you think about that if you're matching grandparents with children who don't have a grandparent, that's I think anytime that you can help create a support system for children, that's a very positive thing. Just like, for example, the nonprofit in my mind that I would like to have, it relates to single moms or women and children or people with disabilities, because I have a lot of things that I could teach them to do so they could work from home. So they don't have to go out and like leave their children. Because one of the things that, as I look back at my life, and I had children and I had to go out, leave them and put them into daycare, when if I had been doing the same work I'm doing today, I could have worked from home. But again, everything was different. We didn't have the technology available to us. We didn't have computer access. There were so many things that were not available yet that are available now to make it so that people can work from home. They don't have to go to a physical office anymore or drive the hour and a half each way up the freeway like I used to do just to get to work and to have a job. So there's a lot of things that I see that I could contribute to helping have better family lives, or just having jobs, because of the fact some people, you can't have a job just because the amount of money it takes to have a daycare, or if you have multiple kids in daycare. At one point I had 2 children in daycare, and almost all the money went to just paying for the daycare. And I remember thinking to myself, what am I doing? But I had to work because I had to put a roof over our heads and everything. So there's a lot of good that can be done. And like you said, it could be related to children, animals, anything, whatever your purpose or heart's desire is with the nonprofit. And I think, like you said, where you can come in is like you can fill in those gaps and help people to discover what type of nonprofit they could do and how it would work with their business.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Related to
Pardon me?
You said that you had a quiz related to nonprofits that people can take. Is that accurate?
Yes, I do. And I was actually going to add something else. You were talking about working from home and how technology has given us that opportunity. That's a good and a bad thing.
Yes.
Because my son says, like, all the time, Mommy, you're always on the computer. Mommy, you're always on the phone. Because I think that one of the challenges being a single mom and working from home and being an entrepreneur, like I really don't work from home. I'm home for 2 hours a day, other than when I'm with him. But and I go back to work at night after he goes to sleep. That sounds kind of a little bit funny. I go back to work at night. But anyway, we'll leave that alone. But it is that is boundaries. And I haven't, despite many efforts, there's times when I've had clearer boundaries. And, I try to use my office, but sometimes I can't. My office is close to his room, so at night it's not always ideal. So there's good and bad, because the technology means that it's 24/7 potentially, whereas when at least you went to a job, you would go, Tammy, and then you would come home, and that would be time for your kids. So so I have a quiz. It's called Nonprofit Quiz. It's actually, the website is nonprofitquiz.com. All one word, nonprofitquiz.com. And anybody that goes and takes that quiz can find out a little bit about nonprofits and then set up a call with me to discuss your nonprofit concept and how it might work and how it would benefit your business. I've also done several webinars which are available as well, and I will be doing a program, an educational program. The website is, but it's not ready yet, nonprofitsmadeeasy.com. So we're going to be teaching about how to set up nonprofits. I have a downloadable ebook that's available as well. So if you do the quiz, we can get you the ebook and take you through the process. So would love to help with that, and certainly see how a nonprofit could benefit your business and why. And one of the things I forgot to mention, but as you're talking about your nonprofit idea, is grants. I mean, grants are the biggest thing of all. Oh my goodness. Like there's so much grant money available, especially for, they call them platform building organizations. It's not platform building. It's another word. I can't remember right now. But basically for grassroots organizations that are trying to bring in people and help people, like what you were talking about, that are overlooked, and building a base and a footprint. There's so much grant money available, millions of dollars. And what that grant money does is twofold. It helps you get access to the money, and it helps you provide services, and you're able to charge for the services because you're getting the grant money, so that the people that are benefiting from it don't have to pay. The grant money is covering it. And when you get paid on that, other than if you're taking a salary, if you pay a third-party company, that also is tax-free money. So there's all kinds of benefits to it.
Wow. Well, right there, I think, is the gold nugget out of this conversation. Because I think so many people, they don't understand that they could create a nonprofit situation, and then that does qualify you to apply for these different grants. I actually was on a website, a government grant site the other day, and I was surprised at how much money was available related not only to things in the United States, but for people from the United States to go to other countries to teach them different things. So there are a lot of different categories that you could look into, and again, scaling up, and it goes to the other work you do with the immigration and visas, to the fact that just because you're in, like I'm in Florida, doesn't mean that I can't be a global entity.
Absolutely.
People around the globe. It's really about expanding your mind to all the possibilities. And I think that's where you come in, Lauren, is that if somebody were to connect with you and talk to you, you could actually open their eyes and their minds to the global possibility. Absolutely. Because I don't think that your average entrepreneur, they might be sitting here thinking, oh, well, I can serve, my little town or my region or my state, or even, national. And I know I have a lot of Canadian clients, and it's almost like you don't think of Canada as being separate.
It's separate. I'm living proof of that.
But no, I know it's separate, but it's, and of course, people from Canada always remind you that their money is not worth as much.
No, God help us, no.
So, and it's like, it's one of those funny things, because you kind of go like, well, I don't know what to do because I live in the United States and I deal in US dollars. And so and I'm sure that's an issue around the world,
yes,
with money. And it's like, well, we just have to deal with what we've got. But you also, you have at the ScaleUPCheckUP.com, that's where people can get the 7 secret ScaleUp success strategies, right?
Well, yes, no, yes and no. It's actually if you want to go and directly get the 7 secrets download, which is not related to nonprofits, but it's available. It's actually ScaleUPCheckUp.net directly. You can get it on .com, but you have to go to another, like you have to go to a download thing. If you go directly to ScaleUPCheckUp.net, you can download that free 7 Secrets to Scale Up Success. It talks a lot about corporate entities. And I wanted to mention one thing. So there's 2 steps to setting up there's multiple steps, but 2 main steps to setting up a nonprofit. The first is you set up what's a nonprofit entity in your state or an entity in your state. And a lot of people think, especially in Florida, because it's a nonprofit entity, that entitles you to raise, get grant money and get donations and have tax exempt status. That has nothing to do with the 501c3 designation given by the IRS or granted by the IRS. That's a whole different level of application and process and a headache, and you don't want to do that alone. There are 2 types of applications, but that's another story for, that's a different situation. But the reality is that, there's multiple steps, and the process of applying for 501c3 designation is not fun. It's not fun. It's not for the weak of heart. And don't do it alone. Stay in your lane. That's my biggest lesson I can teach. My 4 favorite words are stay in your lane. And let's get you set up properly so that you can access those grants, because there is an exorbitant amount of money. And one other thing, which I'm in the process, I got approved finally a month ago, and I'm working with a Google AdWords guy. And for some reason, it's taking a really long time. And I'm getting a little bit frustrated, but I'll explain what this means. So Google has a grant available for nonprofits, specifically 501c3 designated nonprofits, to access up to $10,000 per month in Google AdWords.
Per month?
And it took me 8 months to get approved. And I don't know why, but the guy who's doing it is taking a really long time. I had to make all these changes to my website. So it's going to get done, but that's a really big deal. I mean, think about it. That's Google money. Google.
So Google has a $10,000 a month grant for nonprofits. And in order to qualify, obviously, you have to be a 503 nonprofit organization.
Yes.
Is that $10,000 like a graduated level based on you, or is it just $10,000?
No, it's not 10,000 like that. It can be 500, it can be 5,000. It's up to 10,000 depending on where you fit. But you have to first get the kind of it took about 8 months to get approved. It was a very big process. It's not like every 501c3 automatically is approved. You have to have certain things and meet certain qualifications. And let me tell you, dealing with Google, as much as you would think it's easy, oh my goodness, it was really challenging. But I got it, and it's going to happen, and that's a really big deal. So think about it. Whatever you spend to get your nonprofit set up, that first month of Google AdWords, which is augmenting your for-profit and nonprofit business, basically you're getting that back.
Oh, that's a good incentive to know that's just one example.
Just one.
Of a type of a grant that you can do. And of course, with marketing, and AdWords, as everyone knows who's ever looked into it, can be very, very expensive. And you do need help in understanding how that all works. And I think that's the big lesson that I'm taking away from listening to you, Lauren, is we all think that we could do this stuff ourselves, because we're all smart, we're entrepreneurs, we're probably well educated, and we all, know. But the truth is, if we stay in our area of expertise and then work with other people who actually are experts in these different areas, we're going to shave years off of the growth or the scaling up curve. Because that was one of the things that, for example, I mentioned about getting the accountant.
Yeah.
And
how long did that take you, Tammy?
I wised up probably about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got the accountant, And now, the accountant takes care of all the paperwork and everything, and then I just approve it and look at it, and it's relieved that stress of all of that off of me so that I can stay in my lane and do a better job of serving my clients, because there's a lot of each client is different, and so you have to kind of understand where they're coming from and what their end goals are so that they can have a result. And that's just like with you, with you're talking about growing these businesses and filling in these gaps. And the nonprofit, I think, also helps people to create an exit strategy for themselves too, right?
It's exactly right. It's a part of your exit strategy for sure.
So again, repeat all of the cool stuff that you're giving away, because I think that, again, there's great value in just learning some of the things that you have with everything. You've got the 7 secret ScaleUp success strategies, and that's at ScaleUPCheckUp.net.
Yes, ma'am.
And you get the report. And then tell me more about the nonprofit quiz.
Nonprofitquiz.com, all one word. And if you go to the quiz and you take the quiz, then it will have access to my calendar to set up a free consult with me to discuss your options. And of course, we can discuss other business options too. My main quiz is Show Me the Money quiz, and that's kind of fun and cute. And, if you want to raise money for your business or access more income or ultimately have a lucrative exit strategy, let's talk about how we can get you toward that goal. Because if you don't begin with the end in mind or find the end at some point, you're not going to have an end game and you're just going to keep on spinning. So that's another download. Once you take the nonprofit quiz, I have available, it's just not through my funnel yet because it just was finalized yesterday, an amazing ebook about nonprofits, which will help to get you set up and see where your options are. So there's lots of opportunities to connect with me. As you know, Tammy, I'm on ScaleUPCheckUp, Scale Up Your Business Now on Facebook, ScaleUPCheckUp on LinkedIn, Lauren at ScaleUPCheckUp.com, and soon we will have Nonprofits Made Easy. That's going to be our
Nonprofits Made Easy. I think that's a great, easy to remember domain name. And I'm actually looking at your nonprofit quiz. Even the quiz, I think, has great value because of the way it's designed, and it makes you think. Because the first question, and I'll just give everyone a little hint, is what is your vision for expansion? And just that term alone, it makes you start to think, well, what is my vision?
Right.
What is, how would this work? And what if my dream of giving back could become a reality? I mean, to what you've told me today, it's like, wow, I could really do this. And I really could get grant money to help.
Absolutely.
To and I could end up helping all these people, these moms, these kids, these people who maybe have thought that there isn't anything for them that they can do because of, that maybe they can't leave home for whatever reason.
Right.
So I'm thinking, wow, I actually could create something and leave a legacy besides just, oh yeah.
Leave a legacy. I forgot to mention that. That you must have done my nonprofit course.
I actually, I watched your
the Zoom video
webinar the other day, and I don't know about you, but I will eternalize things, and it kind of starts processing and cooking, and
right.
And then but today in our conversation, I really did And I think that many people, and why they should reach out to you, is that, oh my goodness, I really could create this nonprofit that would match my real life and my business, but at the same time end up helping hundreds, if not thousands of people in a locally all the way out into
Absolutely.
a global situation. So
I'm going to change your language a little bit, Tammy.
Okay. Thank you.
It's not that you could do it. We're going to do it.
Okay. I like that.
Okay? Because that's part of what brings us together, is that I can help you with that. And there's no reason not to, because you have a great platform, a great bio. You know, everything is in place. We just have to go through the details of figuring out how to get this set up for you. And we're going to get you a nonprofit going and a 501c3. And you're going to be making a difference for all these people and women that you want to make a difference for, so that they don't have to leave the home if they can't or don't want to.
Right. Wow. See, everyone, see what happens? So anyway, everybody go to nonprofitquiz.com and check out Lauren. And I'll put the other links into the show notes also, Lauren, so that it's very easy for them. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I just love spending time with you. It's great. It's fun. And thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. So everybody, go take the quiz, nonprofitquiz.com. Go check out ScaleUP and do the ScaleUP checkup. And there's a lot of free little goodies here, and I'll make sure that I give you the links to all this good stuff. And I also want you to really, when you're doing the nonprofit quiz, really pay attention and think about the questions, because I think it is going to be very eye-opening for you. So with that, this is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.